Hi guys, welcome back to TV Spoilers. Today I'm going to reveal Sally's dramatic revenge plot that could put Adam and Chelsea in a stalemate. Y&R Spoilers suggest Sally might hesitate when faced with Billy's temptations, but perhaps a tense encounter with Adam Newman and Chelsea Lawson will change her mind. A heated conflict is anticipated. Sally and Chelsea are about to have a fierce confrontation, so Chelsea might provoke Sally and convince her that Billy is right. Adam might intervene and anger Sally, depending on what he says. Sally might decide she wants revenge after what happened with Adam cheated on her with Chelsea. Between that and any other tensions that may arise, Sally might finally be ready to join Billy and revert to her scheming nature. Sally didn't need to be blunt from the start, because she understood one thing about Billy very well. He always thought of himself as proactive one in every pursuit, but in reality, if someone touched the right wound in his heart, Billy would rush towards them like someone desperate to remove his worth. And Sally saw that more clearly than anyone. She saw the look in Billy's eyes when he mentioned Adam, how his anger was no longer a momentary conflict but a long-lasting emotional debt, fueled by pride, by failure, by the feeling that Victor and Adam could suffocate him at any moment. Billy thought he was pursuing Sally with his enthusiasm and sincerity, but Sally only needed to observe for a few moments to understand. What Billy was pursuing wasn't just a woman. He was pursuing the opportunity to be in a position that would make Adam uncomfortable, to make Victor look at him differently, to make the whole world in Genoa City acknowledge that he could too win. Sally, with her inherent survival and power instincts, seized upon that very point, neither hastily nor roughly, but like an artist plucking a string, allowing the sound to emanate from within the subject. She began planting a very reasonable idea in Billy's mind, an idea that seemed like a romantic proposal, but was actually the key to a battle. If they wanted to go further, they couldn't just be two people drawn to each other by emotion. They needed a common goal, something that would make them a team rather than just a game. And Sally chose that goal no randomly. Adam and Chelsea were close enough to chase pain, prominent enough to create a stir, and relevant enough to Billy's old wounds that he couldn't pretend to be calm. Initially, Sally didn't call it revenge. She called it rebalancing the game. She didn't tell Billy that she wanted to destroy Adam and Chelsea out of spite. She constructed it into a story about principles, about how no one has the right to trample on others and walk away as if nothing happened. She spoke more through her eyes than words, through well-timed silences, through pauses that forced Billy to fill in the missing pieces himself. She let Billy conclude that Adam deserved punishment, that Chelsea wasn't innocent either, that Victor was definitely on the other side and wouldn't hesitate to crush anyone who dared to stand in the Newman family's way. Everything Sally did made Billy feel like he was making his own decisions, but in reality, she was gradually framing his choices. When Sally issued the ultimatum, it didn't feel like a blatant coercion, but rather like a moral boundary. She transformed the ultimatum into a standard of loyalty. If Billy truly wanted Sally, if he truly wanted to prove that he was different from Adam and Victor, then he had to act, had to choose sides, had to dare to cross the line. And the most dangerous thing was that Billy knew perfectly well he was being pushed, but he still wanted to step forward, because he desperately craved the feeling that Sally saw him as someone strong enough to make a difference. Billy hesitated, but it was the kind of hesitation of someone already inclined toward a decision. He could remind himself that this was a media game, that Newman Media was a place where power was exercised through information, that pushing a few unfavorable stories wasn't a crime, but a tactic. He convinced himself that Adam had done far worse things, that Victor never played fair, that Chelsea had hurt others before. But behind all that reasoning was a stark truth. Billy wanted revenge on Adam, wanted to see Adam lose control, wanted to see Victor provoked, and wanted to prove that he could be the first one to strike instead of always being the one reacting. Sally simply stood there, both near and far, both warm and cold, allowing Billy to turn his decision into a mission for love. And so Billy nodded, not as if forced, but as if he were willingly stepping into the role he was always thought he deserved, the one controlling the game. Sally's unexpected revenge catches Adam and Chelsea off guard. Adam no longer just wants to suppress bad news. He wants to turn the tables to make the attacker the victim. Chelsea no longer wants to protect her image. She wants to know who is using Billy as a puppet, and she won't hesitate to pull down the curtain if she finds out. The moment Billy walks into the office to find Sally, he sees what's on her desk and understands that this revenge is about to consume him before he can save anything.